Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Divination Night. I am your hostess, Lady Gwendolyn, and this is Season 2, Episode 5 with my guest, Sarah Faye. How you doing this evening, honey?
I'm doing great. I'm doing really great. How are you?
We're hanging in there. I apologize for the change in my voice, everybody. I've been a little under the weather. If you've been following along, you know I had to postpone an episode, but we're getting that made up. Stay tuned to all my channels to find out whenever we're online. When we do it when we can, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about you. First of all, you are from Chicago.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, you're an hour behind us, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
I think it's an hour behind, not an hour ahead.
Okay, so you do so many different types of energy healing and channeling, and let's just jump right in and talk about it.
Okay. So I've been working with spirit for as long as I can remember. I know that when I was younger, I would always have a lot of dreams. And so that kind of brought me into my awakening. I would have dreams with my ancestors, with people that had passed away and things like that. So it just brought me to this point where I was like, there's something different here that I need to understand, because I've always been a person who wants to know more and more about everything, researching everything. So when I came into my awakening, I started doing paintings, and I've always been very artistic. So I started drawing faces, and then I started to realize that I was actually channeling different beings and different people. And then they started coming out as spirit guides and even as elementals. I know that I work a lot with the fairy realm. So I a lot of times channel them, or I channel the tree spirits, or any of the different types of things in the nature. So that's always really exciting. I also channel light codes and light language. So it's like energy and words, energy and signs. And so I was going to show you one of my paintings. This is one of the light code paintings that I did, and these are all light codes, so they all have like an energetic signature. And when you hold these paintings, when you work with them, they can help you with your gifts. They can help with different ailments, especially if you're working on something specific, then the codes can go towards that. It can really be anything that seems to come out at that time. And since I channel, I do a lot of things intuitively. So when I do these paintings, a lot of the time I just put my hand to paper or put paint to a canvas, and then it comes out that way. And then I get a knowing of what it is or what the purpose of it is. And I usually love to share these to so many, because I know that it can help the collective, as so many different people are going through different things, different emotions, especially for self-love, self-care, and for like the inner child. I know, remember we talked about that a while. The inner child is just so important to me, and I help people to go through those things together, like in a place where they're supported and cared for and, protected. So when I work with the inner child, it's really working about bringing that joy out in your life and really bringing that happiness, and it's healing that part of yourself that may have gone through trauma or abuse or things like that at a young age. And so our inner child lives at our root chakra. And so when you have trouble with your root chakra, that has to do with so many different parts of the body. It has to do with so many different things that happen to you And you can feel like back pain, you can feel lower pain in your abdomen, things like that, all connected to the root chakra. So it's a whole nother thing in itself. But when I do that, I usually do the energy healing. Like you said, like there's so many modalities. And so I can go in and I work like with quantum healing. So I go in and see your energy centers through a meditation. And so through this, I can really grab and pull like blockages that you have, clear the chakras, clear your energy centers. And I've had a few people say, you know, after they've done it, they start crying and it's like a release, or they, you know, will feel really rested, or they're really tired and then they wake up so rested like they never been before. And I'm grateful for that. I'm really grateful to be able to help, and just to know that I helped a person, you know, even if it's just one.
You have such a unique ability, and it's a little off topic, but I have to ask you, what's your sign?
I'm a Virgo.
I love you.
Yes. But my
Virgo.
Yes, my rising and my moon are both water signs. So my Virgo is the earth that grounds me. And then the rest of it is kind of where I'm so emotional all the time. I feel everything, you know, especially with being an empath and a heyoka empath. I know like what you, just mirroring other people's emotions. That's exactly what that is. And it's always for the point of healing. Like if someone is being really aggressive or negative, things like that, heyoka empaths seem to mirror that in them, so that they get so irritated that they stop and take a look at themselves to be able to heal that part of themselves. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes that can get irritating, especially with when you live with certain people, or if you have certain friends that have those tendencies, because it really brings that out and they can get irritated or uncomfortable with it because you're literally mirroring what they're doing. That's it's crazy.
So we have some comments, people saying hello everybody, welcome, and some people agreeing with you, saying lucky. Because your path is so unique. I mean, and I keep saying it over and over again, every single episode. Everybody that's on here reads differently and has different gifts, and that's the beauty of this. That's the goal, and to see that. Now Shanda, she's joining us from YouTube. She says her big three are Pisces and then Aquarius.
Wow.
So what are your thoughts on that?
It just feels like she's really got a lot of emotions all of the time. I'm definitely a vivacious person. I mean, definitely.
She says, I have no clue what's going on anywhere and are prone to fits of tears.
Yes, absolutely. I can feel that.
Okay, and Sarah's joining us from Facebook. I resonate with a healing empath, and then she is a Libra Aquarius. So we've got a lot of Aquariuses here. So what are your thoughts on the Libra Aquarius?
Well, that, I mean, even that, it feels like she would have a really wild imagination, but it would just be someone who kind of gets in the clouds, but also feels the clouds when they're full. You know what I mean? Like that's what it feels like to me. Absolutely.
I would say you're pretty spot on. So anyway, we're talking now about her gifts and what she does, but we are taking readings. She will be taking readings. I am still on kind of a hiatus, but I'm working on it. So hopefully pretty soon I'll be back to doing readings again. So if you want a reading, just include your date of birth and we'll get that. So what kind of readings, how does your readings normally go? So if someone was to book a session with you, what can they expect?
Okay, so I do many different types of readings. I do tarot readings, which is usually just either it can be on a specific question, it can be a general thing, it can be something like that. And so I'll do the tarot readings on, what's going on in the future, what's going to be happening. or with your question. I can also do mediumship readings where I connect with a loved one, and I do use tarot cards for that because that's how I make that connection. I'll pull the cards, and when I do the mediumship reading, I usually get a timeline leading up to when they passed and then what is happening now with them. And a lot of times I can connect. Sometimes they're not able to connect if they just passed or if they're, still going through a type of healing. So I do the mediumship as well. And then I also do like energy readings. So I kind of connect with them and see where their chakras are, see where their energy blockages are, if they have any, things like that. And then I also do inner child healing sessions. And those go wonderfully. Those are really great to do. I help people through their trauma and then through letting that fun come out, blowing bubbles or just something silly that you would do as a child that really brings that out within you. So, but tonight I'm going to be doing tarot cards.
Okay. So I have a question. You kind of brought up something, and I have a question. Whenever doing mediumship readings, because I've just kind of started, I haven't really got deep into it yet. This is a tough question here. Have you ever, now everybody's beliefs on it is different. Have you tried to channel somebody and they not be there? I mean, not because they haven't settled in yet, but that they've already passed their time and they've reincarnated? Or what are your thoughts on that? Because
I think it can happen. It definitely can happen. Sometimes they reincarnate. Sometimes people are stuck in between and they're still going through a lot of things. Like what I feel like right when you pass is you go through a lot of healing. And so there can be parts where you don't really get a lot from someone just because they need a lot of healing. They can also be stuck in like a limbo where they're still dealing with things that had happened during their life and things like that. When people want me to connect with a child, that can be most difficult, especially because children, they don't really make as much sense as when you're connecting with an adult or an older past loved one. But I have I've come into that before where you can't make that connection, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes that person they're either still going through their healing and can't be reached, or they've completely gone over, and that can happen as well.
I've seen it pop up a couple of times recently, people questioning beliefs and reincarnation, and in this, those of us in the spiritual field, what we actually believe in it. So I kind of snuck in and asked you about it.
I do understand.
But do you feel that it can be that quick, that reincarnation can be within a couple of years, or something like that?
I don't know.
For example, if somebody were to want to channel their grandmother, okay, I will use myself as the example. Okay. My grandmother passed away. My great grandmother passed away in 98, 99. I think it was 99. And so she lived for 88 years. And if I wanted to try to connect with her, or if I wanted you to connect with her,
yes.
It's been years.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
like, could you do that? It depends on the person, but it also depends on what they want. Because a lot of times like a spirit will not want to come through, or maybe they've said all they need to say, or they want the person to know something within themselves without having to hear it again. I think that there's so many circumstances. There's also like so many different reasons why things happen. Maybe you or others can't connect with a certain person. It has to do with timing. It could do with that person doesn't want to be reached. It can do with they reincarnated, like you said, or it can even be that you're asking something specific that they've already said, or that they want you to know at a later time. Because it can be, there's so many different, what is it called? Like so many different, things that come in the way of it. You know what I mean? There's so many different objectives, or this or that, or what if that, and I think it all has to do with like your highest good. I really do. Because if you can't connect to a certain thing, it's got to be for a reason. Maybe you're not supposed to know something specific, or sometimes I'll do readings for people and spirit will like completely stop giving me information. And I think when that happens, it's either the person wants to know too much, or they want very, very specific details, or they already know within themselves and they want that reassurance that has already been given. That can be. Yeah.
That is a great response. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so we actually have a couple people that are ready for readings.
Awesome.
But first, we have Asa joining us from YouTube. He is Aries, Virgo. So,
ooh, fancy. That seems really awesome. Like he seems like he would have like a great imagination, but also be able to stay grounded and like being able to do planning and do what he needs to do with being grounded, but also having like a really good time.
Yeah, I'd say.
Absolutely.
Okay, so first up is Colin, January 5th. Getting told to take more time for me instead of the projects that I'm working on. So it's up to you. How you want to do that reading.
So is he wanting to know if he should take the time? Or
it sounds like it.
Yeah. So like what is spirit telling him to do? I can pull a couple cards for that and kind of see it for Colin and just see kind of, should you really be taking time to rest? Absolutely. Let me pull you a couple cards then. Okay. Okay, so the first card that came up is the Hierophant. And so that has to tell with, let me make sure. That tells about education. So I think that this can be taking as a time to learn a little bit more about what you're doing before putting yourself headfirst into something. I don't know if that's why you need to be taking time or something like that, or if spirit's telling you that maybe you should take a little bit of time to rest and really research everything that you're doing right away. This also has to do with unity in marriage. So it could be telling you to take some time to focus on other things in your life, maybe relationships or things of that nature, instead of putting all of your energy into one thing at one time. Also, the 8 of Swords came up, and the 8 of Swords tells about, like, it looks like a restrictions card. So yeah, definitely restrictions. So I think that time restrictions. If you feel like you're putting all of your energy into one thing at one time, again, that came up. Definitely feel free to take that time to rest, rethink things, really work through the things that you're working through, and allow yourself that time to rest, because it might be for a good purpose. Sometimes I know that if you're working on something and you go head first in it, you can miss a lot of things that you wouldn't have missed if you had taken a little more time, or if you have given yourself like a moment to rest. And then the final card is the 10 of Wands, and this tells about a burden. So if these things that you're doing are feeling like a burden, if you're feeling like there's a burden weighing on you and that you have to get them done, or if you're feeling like time constraints keeps coming up for me. So I keep thinking that you're thinking that you have to get everything done in a short period of time without really taking the time to do things easily. Take your time, allow things to flow. When you feel right about something, when you feel like you've rested enough, then go back to what you're doing. I feel like spirit is definitely telling you that there's a lot of different things coming into play when you do rest and take some time for yourself. When you give yourself that peace, I think that more will come to you on the things that you're doing. And when you really take that time, things can actually turn out better, for the better. That's what I'm getting from those. There's a lot of different things that came up for that.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Right.
Okay, and now we have 2 more in queue. We have Sheila. October 19th is her birthday.
Okay, Sheila. Okay, Sheila. Those cards were weird. Okay, Sheila, you got the Temperance card. I'm going to actually show it. So the Temperance card tells about putting things in balance. This is also telling you about negotiations and giving a little and also taking a little at the same time. This card also reminds me of making sure that you're not pouring from an empty cup, because I'm seeing the 2 cups with the water. It does tell about balance, but it's also telling you to take balance within your life and really make sure that everything is happening in a good way so that you're not feeling drained at the end. I'm definitely feeling that for you. That was for you, Sheila.
Wonderful. Okay, next up is Sherry, and her birthday is May the 2nd.
Okay, Sherry. Her birthday's coming up. Well, in a couple months. Sherry. Okay, Sherry, you received the Ace of Swords. This tells about a successful new beginning. This card is also telling about a beginning that involves success, I guess. Yeah. Success, new beginnings, good things coming your way. This is a really wonderful card. It's really beautiful. It is also it has the roses, so it makes me feel like it's going to be a new beginning filled with positivity. It's a very beautiful card.
So Colin said thanks, and Sheila said thank you, spot on. And Sherry just kind of laughed. She said she's getting old.
Oh, I understand.
We're all getting there, honey. We're getting there.
Absolutely.
Now, if time would just stand still for a little bit, and
exactly,
and things, we would stop getting older, and all these things that happen as you get older would slow down a bit and take a breath.
Exactly. Let us catch our breath for a moment here. It does go by quickly. I know.
Okay, and next up we have Shanda, the one that's joining us from YouTube. Okay. March 19th is her birthday. So what is Spirit shouting that I am missing?
Okay, Shanda. Okay. Damn. Okay, so what is Spirit shouting that I'm missing? So the card that came up is the 8 of Wands, and that tells about some big news coming in the next couple of days. And it's really weird because that's so vague and you're wanting something so specific. So I think that Spirit is trying to let you know of something that is happening quickly, but also something that is going to be news to you. And then you received the Devil card, and so that tells about restrictions. It also tells about kind of feeling like you're being pressured into something, or that you're being held back from something even. This card is definitely making me feel like there might be someone in your relationship or area that's kind of making you feel like there's not a lot that you can share or give. It feels really strong for me. And then the Emperor. So Spirit's telling you to put up boundaries, definitely telling you to make sure that you're having your space, that you're being heard, and that you're being able to use your voice, and that you're in a situation where you can really be heard. That just seems so important.
All right. She said, LMAO, dang devil.
I know, every time that card comes up.
Okay, so using your voice, it kind of throws us into something that we talked about last night. Are we going to be roaring into March, or are we going to be tiptoeing into March?
Honestly, from yesterday to today, I feel like we're going to be roaring. Like, I feel like this is the time that we're going to own our power. Like, March just feels like a good time. Like, it feels like a lot of people are, they're coming back online and they're starting to use their voice. They're starting to, use that power that they have standing in their power. It just feels mighty. It does feel like a lion to me.
Yeah. So the energy that is still circling from yesterday's portal.
Yes.
How are you feeling? Are you feeling any boundaries? Because whenever, okay, so what I did on, and I had it planned, but I didn't do the video on it. On February 2nd to 22, I did a video, and it was like opening up the portal and make your wishes and things that you want to accomplish in the long-term goals.
Mm-hmm.
So and now that it's closing off, I feel like it's tying the bag. Like you put all your wishes and your goals and stuff in the bag, and now you tied the bag up, and now you're just going to, not wait, but you're going to you need to work with that bag every day.
Yes. Work towards your goals. I definitely feel that. Work towards the things that you set out to work through, and make sure that you're hitting it on the head, because I definitely feel like we all have the capability to really reach for and do what we put ourselves to. It's that mindset and that will to keep going forward, that perseverance. I definitely feel that.
Now, Shanda commented from her reading, said, yes, ma'am, that has been a huge lesson for me. Thank you. She said, this is definitely my time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's great to hear that. I could feel the power when she said that.
Yeah.
This is my time. Yes, exactly. Be the lion. Like I said, March the lion. That's crazy.
Oh, she said, setting her boundaries. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You have to.
I know.
Unfortunately, we live in a world now where so many people do not respect boundaries anymore.
I completely agree. It's really difficult too. It's hard. And it's hard to stand up for yourself too, because when somebody does something and everything else around them feels like, especially when you're doing it alone. If you have to do something alone, if you have to set those boundaries, especially to people that can be, hostile or confrontational, it can be really difficult. But I know that once you do it, you're going to feel so much better. Definitely a relief.
Yeah, absolutely. She says she's just learning about them. So I'm gonna throw this question to you, Sarah. What would be something like your first line of boundary, first line of defense? What would you suggest somebody
when they're setting up boundaries? I don't know. I think boundaries can be so many different things. I definitely think if someone says something off-putting, or they say something about a part of you, that's a boundary too. If someone says something about you to your face, or they say it behind your back, even is worse. I think the first way of going about that would be to talk to someone about it, but also talk to them in a way that is not confrontational. Because when someone's feeling attacked, or if someone feels like, well, you're going at me about it, it just becomes a big argument, and then you really don't get your point across. When I'm trying to do my boundaries, I always try to come in very lightly, because that's the first chance. You know what I mean? That's the first step of doing it, is to be able to sit down, be adults, and have the conversation about it, even if you have to call them on the phone or text them, because after that, you can definitely say, I tried to be the nice guy, and now I'm really going to have to put those boundaries out there. I think if you do it in a civil matter, but it also depends on what boundaries they're crossing over. There's so many, but if it's something small, I would say sit down and just be like, this is important, and I need you to respect this. And if they don't respect it, then it's definitely time to let go of that.
She says 48 years of people pleasing, and I agree with the subtle approach, then follow up as needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, I feel that she would benefit from talking to you in a healing aspect, just from her comments.
Yeah.
Because you do a lot of deep inner working. So
yes,
can we talk about that for a few?
Absolutely.
Like how you can get in there and work it
out. Absolutely. So I think with being an empath, that just always comes up for me, because I've always had people come to me and kind of, it's easy to talk to. You can always be yourself with me. Tell me the deepest things that you do. I'm not going to tell them to anyone else. Feel comfortable talking to me about these things, because I know how hard they are. I've been through my share of traumas and my share of things that have been very difficult. But shadow work, which is definitely that nitty gritty, is hard. And when you know that you've been through a lot of shadow work, there's always going to be more. But for me, like when you sit down and have a conversation with someone, I'm going to hear you. I'm going to make sure that you're heard and that you're listened to and that you're cared for. Like when you do something alone, it can be so much harder than being able to like chat with somebody or let them know, like, I'm feeling this way today. If I could talk to you for a few minutes. I'm that type of person. I love to be able to give someone comfort. A lot of the work that I do is about self-love and self-healing, but it's also about having that comfort, knowing that you're safe and that you're protected and that you're never alone in these situations. We have so many spirit guides surrounding us. Even if we can't see them, they're there. And so that work would be going in and holding that part of themselves, holding space for them and letting them know, look, you're not alone. I'll call on my angels for you. I do that often. Definitely just call on my angels for people and let them know they're comforted. They're not alone. They don't have to do anything alone, especially when it's very difficult or when it's hard to talk about. And never feel embarrassed for feeling a certain way because you feel it for a reason. You know, when I do readings with people and when I do the inner child work as well and the shadow work with people, it can be really difficult to talk about things, and it can be really hard to express things that have been very difficult for you. But I try to bring them into a place of comfort and peace and knowing that they're safe here. That's important for me.
So what do you think, and this kind of got us on the topic of shadow work, and I've been doing it for a couple of years, and honestly I don't remember how I got started doing it. It just was like slingshot, like
Yes, it's time.
right into it. So if somebody wanted to start, what would you suggest would be their first step?
I think the first step is kind of like identifying where there's a problem or where there's something that's hurt. When you're triggered by something, when there's something that triggers you, those triggers are pinpoints on parts of yourself that need to be healed. And those are the parts that are the hardest. If you're, if you have inner child work that you need to work on, you definitely feel a lack of joy or a lack of happiness or a lack of being able to have fun and letting go and relaxing. I think the first thing would just be to identify where there needs to be work. That's like number one, because if you go in head first, I'm going to do this shadow work, but you don't really know what you're working on. You know, that's really important, is just to know which parts of yourself need to have that work, need to have the healing.
Okay, so I'll give an example. A lot of people in my generation have to deal with abandonment issues because our parents were never there.
Yes.
They were working or just took off. So
I get that.
So that's, I mean, I understand that's a lot of inner child healing as well. But again, what would you say would be a good start in dealing with abandonment issues? Because it affects all relationships.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not just fear. The fear.
Yes, 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 exactly. It's that fear of not wanting them to go, or or being afraid that they're going to leave, afraid of that. I think what's most important on that is self-love and self-care, and knowing that you can be there for yourself, is knowing, and also trust, because that goes to trust issues too. You have to be able to trust the person that you're with, or even trust yourself to know that you're not going to go anywhere, that you're going to stick this through. And it especially has to do with the people that we surround ourselves, because if you can't trust someone, then you can't trust them to stay, or you can't trust for them not to abandon you. And then if they do, you have yourself. And it comes back to that inner self, that self-love, and that inner child, because it all does stem. I think a lot of what we deal with as adults is things that we did not heal from childhood. And that's why the inner child for so many is so important, just because that inner child is sitting there like with this guilt, with shame, with fear, with all of this. And once you heal that, it's a big part of shadow work, because it also helps you to heal what you start to feel as an adult. you can change the path of how you're going to feel tomorrow if you change what you felt then. That's what I feel.
I mean, and what if you can't even trust yourself?
If you can't trust yourself, then I would say
one.
to put yourself deeply into something that you love until you can. Do and it's so hard because when you don't trust yourself, it's hard to trust others. And then when you don't love yourself, it's hard to love other people. And so any kind of love that you have, put it into something that you can see. When you see things, it's also about surrounding yourself with people that want to support you, like having that support system, having those people in place that tell you even on your worst days, hey, it's okay, you're safe, you're here. And that's also with root chakra work. I think working with the root chakra, with the affirmations, working with the crystal healing, things like that as well. I work with goddess Hecate, and so she helped me a lot with my shadow work, because Goddess Hecate is all about taking back your power. For me, for such a long time, I was so worried about what people said, and that self-doubt, that self-fear. And that all comes back to the self-care that you do, giving yourself enough time to work through these things. If you don't trust yourself, it can be hard, but there's always something outside of yourself that's going to give you that confirmation that you can. Like, I feel that. And even if you do make a wrong choice, or if you do something that you think is wrong, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, because that's where a lot of anxiety comes from, is keep thinking about the past. What could I have changed? Do I regret anything? What did I do that could have been changed? Nothing, because it already happened. It is what it is. And that's such a big saying for me, because at the end of the day, it is what it is. You made the decisions, you made the choices. All you can do is go forward with them. And so I'm off topic, but
No, you're perfect.
But it all connects with self-love and self-care. And with doing that for yourself, it's giving you that time to be with yourself. It's giving you that time to express who you want to be, and then become more comfortable with who you are. And with finding people who are like you, they give you more support because they understand. That feels so important to me, is just having that support system, getting in touch with your guides, getting in touch with what you love to do, because it's going to open up so much support, just because you're going to know it's there. That's what I would say.
Oh no, that was absolutely wonderful. You made some amazing points, and I hope that some of our listeners can, help, that helps them. That's been a lesson of mine, and I'm lucky to have a friend that understands me. Oh, wonderful.
See, that's beautiful. Friends, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So kind of brings us to a point in the show that I have to talk about something.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I'm going to have to talk about something every show. Here lately, it's been people messaging, just messaging people out of the blue and saying, hey, I'm drawn to your profile.
Yes.
Your picture speaks to me, and I'm called to give you a reading, or message me for your private reading. Unfortunately, people do get into our live feeds. It doesn't just happen with mine, it happens with yours as well. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, anytime, and just be aware of that. If somebody messages you, we're pretty lucky because we have some good people working behind the scenes here. So if somebody comes on and comments, they get booted automatically, blocked, so that they can't see your names and they can't reach out to you from that account. But unfortunately, multiple people do that, and they will go on and message you after the live feed is over with. If you ever get anything like that, do not accept, do not engage, because they are not there for your truest good.
They're trying to make money.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do.
There is a difference between those of us that are genuinely trying to help people that, we get paid for our services, but it's out there, and we do not come to you and saying, hey, so-and-so, I'm called to you and I need to give you a reading. I just, that's an invasion of privacy.
Yes, I agree.
Sorry, that's my view on it. And so I would never do it. She would never do it.
No. Absolutely not.
So anybody that is in this community for the better good will not do that to you. So just wanna make that clear. So if you get anything after the show or anything like that, just automatically block it and just move on with your life, and know that consider that a boundary.
Yes, perfect.
Set that boundary for yourself. Yes. I am not accepting. Move along, please.
Yes. Spam. That's what that is.
I apologize for that.
No worries.
Okay, so you do work, and we're going to get into it, and I really hope that I don't mess up the word, because I already know what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Oh, okay, so we had a question. How are we contacted? So would you go ahead and tell how you can be contacted?
Oh, you can find me on Facebook. Healing. Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I don't know if it's in the thing. It's Sarah Faye. And you can message me anytime. Feel free to, message me, or you can book an appointment, or because I have a big list of different ones that you can book, or you can just chat with me and we can figure out what would be best for you. It's on Facebook. It's Facebook. .com/Sarah Faye, I think it is. It's probably not, but do we have the link in the thing up here?
We should have the link.
It should be there.
If not, I can put it in afterwards, but I'm pretty sure we have it. But yeah, look for her on Facebook. I'm on Facebook as well, but my Facebook booking is shut down. I do not book through there. You have to actually go to Lady Gwendolyn Healing, and there's your page. It's posted up in the comment section now, so we're good.
I thought so. Thank you so much.
So Lady Gwendolyn Healing is spelled LadyGwendolyn, Healing, HEALING.com. And so that's all of my bookings. I do healings as well. Readings, like I said, I'm kind of on a hiatus right now, so give me another week or so to continue to heal and then get in there. Okay, so we have another reading.
Oh, okay, cool.
10/26 is the date of birth. This is for Tina.
Tina.
Yeah.
Tina. Mm-hmm. Tina. Okay, Tina. So let me see. You've got the 9 of Swords. This tells about anxiety. This can be really difficult to deal with. It feels like you're kind of like all over the place. You have a few things going on. The anxiety can also be with the high energies that are coming in. It kind of feels like you're just feeling anxious about something very specific. There's also the 3 of Swords, which can be heartbreak, something that really hurt you that's just making you very anxious. I don't know. Again, we talked about boundaries. I don't know if you went through a hard breakup or you went through a situation that was very hard. But it definitely feels like it's just kind of draining you at this point, the situation that you went through, and just filling you with a lot of anxiety. Now, you did receive the Knight of Cups. And so this tells about, let me make sure. I don't know. I can't even find my thing. Oh, the Knight of Cups, which tells about a proposal. So it feels like the situation that you went through, this person could be coming back to try to reconcile with you or work things through. It could even just be a friend or a family member. Something happened where it really broke you. It really made you feel very hurt, but it seems like they're coming back to kind of make amends or apologize for what they have done. So you're definitely going through quite a few things. So I'll be sending you some healing, hun.
Wonderful. Okay. So, are you on any other social medias? Do you have any?
I do have an Instagram, which I need to figure out what it is. I don't go on there very often, though. I do most of my stuff through Facebook. I used to have an Etsy page where I sold my paintings, but I don't do that. I'm going to start it up again, but I'm pretty much on Facebook right now. I do have a Zoom account, so you can also reach me on there. And I think it's still under, it's under Duende Ann, which is my Facebook thing. I know, but I can definitely put all of that. I'll give it to you guys, but mostly Facebook is really good to reach me.
Okay. So what all types of services? Because, okay, so if anybody's seen the video that I created and I posted out, it's a surprise for her because she hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah, I know, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. But it shows not just your paintings, but which, you know, we have some new people popping in here. So can you show another one of your paintings?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have a ton of different paintings. This is one that I did. So I do different types of light codes, and they're for healing. And so they can be for, I can actually do light code paintings specifically for your energy. I do them also for specific healing modalities. So if it was like for self-love, for prosperity, like things like that, like you would do spell jars for. And then I also do energy healings, like aligning of the chakras, clearing of the blockages. I do mediumship readings, and then different types of tarot readings as well. So it's quite a bit.
Okay, so I've seen something that you haven't mentioned yet, and it's the bracelets.
Oh, shoot. I can't believe I completely forgot. Yes, I do macrame jewelry. My goodness. I knew I forgot something. The macrame jewelry. I do this with crystal healing as well as energetic healing. So when I do they're like intention bracelets. When I do the bracelets, I weave the energy of what you're wanting or what you're hoping for in the bracelet. I can also do them intuitively, where I intuitively pick the type of bead that I use, the intentions behind it, but it's all specifically for you. So it's more like customized and specifically for what you're looking for. And I do that. I've been doing those for a while. I love to create them. I completely forgot. Thank you for reminding me. My goodness.
I snooped on your page.
Oh, see, well, I'm glad you did.
So, but yeah, I love that you can embrace your creativity side and everything comes out that way. Well,
yes.
Not everything. You can do tarot stuff like that, but you're so creative. So what does, you're working with your creativity. How is that healing for you?
Creativity. Okay, so it's always been an outlet for me. When I'm feeling too much, when I'm going through things, it's such a way of expression. It's also a coping mechanism. When I have anxiety, I do a lot of the time, I do my macrame, and I can put all of the good intentions. And then by the time I'm done making something, I feel so much better because I was able to put the energy in a positive way somewhere out there. You know, I used to be filled with all of this different energy, and I realized that if I put it in something, it becomes beautiful and powerful. And I've embraced it. It's really just been an outlet. It's been a coping mechanism. It's been a way of expression. And it's also been a way to connect with so many different spirits and guides. It's beautiful. I'm grateful for it.
Have you found that it has helped you with your shadow work?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I did inner child work, creativity, again, the inner child, creativity is such a thing that connects you to your inner child, especially when you're letting yourself just do things intuitively. I would do splatter painting or, abstract painting or anything that just makes you feel good. The shadow work, you can also, when you're really feeling, traumatic or you're feeling depressed or angry or mad, art and painting or even sculpting, anything to get that energy out into something. What I also do is with my creativity is I will write tons of things down on a piece of paper that I'm upset about, that I'm angry about, and then burn it in the fire. And then that's a way of letting go of it. It can also be a good releasing thing. And you can even burn the painting that you did if it made you so angry. It's a way to kind of get all of that out in one place.
Like aggression meets aggression.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then the fire like cleanses it, allows it to go, and you give it up. You know what I mean? You let yourself let go of it and put it down because it can be heavy.
Yeah. Okay, so can you spell out the name of your Facebook page?
Yeah. I have a personal page, and then I have my business page is Sarah Faye. It's SARAHFAE.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
We just try to make sure, because not everybody can see the show. We're going to be listening later or something. So we want to make sure everything is burning. And Tina, the last reading you did said thank you so much. So I feel you've hit the nail on the head each time tonight.
I'm really grateful
I
for
feel
that.
You've done an amazing job.
Thank you.
So hello everybody, thank you for joining us. I am Lady Gwendolyn. You can find me at Lady Gwendolyn Healing on Facebook. I'll spell it out for you again. LADYGWENDOLYN HEALING.com. So that's my website, and I am on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I'm everywhere. I always have my hands in little things, lots of little things, right, Virgo?
Absolutely right. So many different plans.
Okay, so we are being heard on. We're being watched through Facebook, through YouTube. And this is a podcast, so you can listen to us on Anchor and on Spotify. So you can find us, this show. If you miss it now, you can, or just catching the end, then you can find us on there. Now we do have one more reading. Are you up for one more reading?
Absolutely. Go for it.
And then after this, we'll close things out if you're comfortable.
Sounds great. That sounds perfect.
Okay. So this is Mariah, and her birthday is April 28th.
Okay. Mariah. All right, Mariah, you also received the Emperor. This is telling you to put things in order, make sure everything that it is neat and tidy and ready for the next day. Have a plan and put up your boundaries. Again, the boundaries. Definitely make sure that you are putting up healthy boundaries with those around you. You deserve it. Definitely.
So that's definitely a theme for tonight.
And I know boundaries seems to be the theme.
So are we safe to say that if we've learned anything here in the last couple of weeks with this, 2 to 22 portal, that coming out of it, we need to be more aware of ourselves and those boundaries. Definitely. And stick to them.
Absolutely.
Because as much as it's come up, we kind of have no choice than to say it's for the higher good.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Okay. Well, it has been wonderful having you on here. We have had a great conversation.
Well, thank you so much.
I love talking to you. And I'm just going to put this out there. At the end of season 2, well, actually, we did it for season 1. We always have a season finale, and I do bring back guests. So I would love for you to come back for that if you would.
Yeah, most definitely. Feel free to message me, and I would love to. That would be great. It was a pleasure to be here and have the experience and like have the opportunity. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, I had so much fun talking to you, and we just clicked really well, you know.
Absolutely.
All right, so everybody, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Like I said, this was season 2, episode 5. Tomorrow night we have season 2, episode 6. Now this one was postponed, so we're making it up for a special night. So join us tomorrow night at 8 p.m. and we're going to do this all over again with guest Natalie McVicker. So we look forward to seeing you then. Have a great night, and thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us.
Absolutely. You have a great night.
Thank you.